Hi guys, yes, we are back on the Mark 7 Golf GTI in today's video, and finally, after all the fueling issues I've been having, we are going to take it out for its first sub 500 brake horsepower road test, and I'm going to take Draggy with me as well and see how quick it can do some 100 to 200s, 0 to 60, quarter mile, etc. Obviously on the autobahn or the private runway, whichever I decide to use. And yeah, so today should be a good video. If you haven't seen my channel before, please do subscribe, and also head over to my Instagram at saving_salvage for more videos like this and all the other projects as well, guys. So yeah, let's get on with today's video. Now, I explained in the last video I was having loads of issues with fueling. It turned out to be one of the new Golf fire injectors I bought and installed had a dodgy defective seal, and it wasn't sealing properly, and that was causing a drop off of fuel pressure and basically messing up all my high pressure values, etc., and that is just making the car misfire. Yeah, so solved that by buying a new injector seal kit from Audi, and that has now solved my issue, and the car is, as you just heard, now running sweet. Now, there are a few things that I need to do before we can take it out for the first road test. One of them being, as you can see, the coolant bottle is empty, and I have a long-standing problem with coolant leak. I thought it was some O-rings, which I did replace a few videos ago down here, but let me just get my torch. But it turns out that when this car was crash damaged, click on the top right hand corner if you haven't seen the videos of me putting it back to standard. This hose, I'll just point with the torch, this hose here, oh, actually I'll show you in a minute. That hose there has got a hairline crack, it seems, in or just under it, and that is where the source of my coolant leak is coming from. So we need to change that pipe there. And also I have a couple of oil pressure switches as well. Because they sometimes, not very often, but it just flashes up oil pressure low, and I know it's not, I've already tested it, so I've just ordered a couple of oil pressure switches, and hopefully that will solve that. Now, here are the pipes in question. So yeah, they're my two oil pressure switches. Here is this hose that I was talking about. It seems that I've got like a hairline crack maybe here somewhere. I'm not sure. Once we get it off, we'll be able to look properly, but that is the source of my coolant leak. And also, I have my gear neutral position sensor here for the gearbox. Now, again, when the car was crash damaged, that was damaged, but not fully. And that is why my adaptive cruise doesn't work, because the car can't recognize what gear it's in, so therefore the adaptive cruise won't work because of that. So we can probably might not do that today, but yeah, we've got that to swap out as well. Now, I just want to give a massive shout out to YFood, who's kindly sponsors today's video. Now, YFood have been sponsoring my videos for as long as I can remember, and their product is really great. I've been using it now for over 2 years, and the reason I like it so much is because it is a meal replacement drink. It is not to be confused with a diet drink, so it has around 500 calories in, which keeps you full for between 3 and 5 hours. They have 26 different vitamins and minerals in. They are glucose free, they are lactose free, they are high in fiber, and no added sugar. You can get them in a drink form, a powder form, or a brownie. So you have the drink and the powder here. Now, another reason that's so great is because there is no bad flavor either. I've tried probably up to 10 different flavors, and even some of them I've gone, well, I don't know if I'm going to like that flavor, like hazelnut for example, but hazelnut ended up being one of my favorite flavors. So they all taste great. You don't need to keep them refrigerated, and they have a really long use by date. Now, if you haven't tried YFood before, I suggest trying the starter kit. So if you click the link in my description, go over to their website, use my discount code, which is salvage10 at the checkout, for an extra 10% off, guys, and give them a go. So a massive thanks to YFood for sponsoring today's video. So, first things first, I'm going to remove my intake for the 5 millionth time and see if I can get this hose out without making much of a mess. I'm not going to drain the coolant because I can't be bothered, and I'm hoping because it's relatively near the top, if I can just swing it out quickly and lift it up, I shouldn't lose much coolant. Right, the new hose is all fitted after spending about 20 minutes trying to get the clip off to pull that pipe out. Yeah, new one's all fitted, come with a new clip and a new internal O-ring, so that was easy, didn't bother filming putting it back on because it's just a reverse. So that's all done. Now I'll show you the damage to this pipe because it is very, very difficult to spot, and no wonder I've spent God knows how many weeks trying to find this coolant leak, because even just looking at the pipe here, look, looks absolutely fine, doesn't it? Even looking as close as possible, you just can't see anything. But the crack is right in the V here, and if I can get a torch, I don't even know if you'll be able to see it. You might, can you see there, look? Can you see where my fingernail is? You can see evidence of coolant leaking. There's just a very faint crack there, see it? And the best way to show you is internally. Now, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'll try and hold it with my leg. Right, sorry for the shaky hand, but can you see that crack there? Look, I can't put my finger in because I can't move it, but 12 o'clock in the middle of that pipe, can you see that crack there? Now that very faint thing there. Now that very, very faint crack there that you could only really see internally is the cause of my water leak. So now I'm hoping that has now been resolved. So, pat on the back for me, I'll take that. And now we're going to move on to the oil pressure switches, and if I can, I will replace the gear neutral sensor if I can get to it, but it might be just below the starter motor, so maybe a little bit difficult. But yeah, onto the oil switches. Now these, there you go, they're both there. Look, these should be a lot easier to do. I think I'm going to guess a 27mm socket, so I'm going to get a 27mm socket, yeah, and just whip both those off and stick the new ones on, and then yeah. Last but not least, we'll stick some coolant back in. Right, I've cleared down all my codes now, and this is the only one that remains for the auto distance control, adaptive cruise control. No enable identification is active. I've had a quick look, and the only way to clear those is with Otis or an online clear. I think it might be component protection, I'm not sure. So yeah, unfortunately I can't clear that, so cruise control is probably still not going to work. But at least I know that is the only thing, well at the moment anyway, the only thing that is an issue. So I spoke way too soon saying that there were no current issues with the Golf GTI, because after changing those oil pressure switches, it is about a week later by the way, I did just I let the car get up to temperature, I took it for a quick road test up and down the drive just to make sure it was okay, and the oil pressure light did come back on, so obviously pretty concerned at this point. It means I probably do have an issue with oil pressure. So I did whip off the oil filter housing just to have a look, and yeah, it still smelled of petrol in the oil filter. So immediately concerned. At this point I think we've got two possible issues. The first one is when I changed the oil from when the car broke down cylinder 4, petrol got it past the rings and into the sump. When I changed the oil and filter that time, maybe it didn't get it all out of the system, because obviously there'll be oil in the cylinder head around the oil lines, etc. So maybe all the petrol didn't get out. I'm hoping that is the case. Or option 2 is we have leaky rings in cylinder 4. I don't think that's going to be the case, because the car runs fine, it runs okay, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think it is going to be option 1. But just to confirm, I am going to do a compression test. I just want to make sure cylinder 4 matches the other 3 cylinders, and if that's the case, obviously we'll put it back together and I'll do another engine and oil filter change, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that will solve it. I'll probably run it for 10 miles and then I'll come back, take the oil filter housing off again and see if I can smell petrol again. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Honestly, do not tune your cars, this has put me off. I've had nothing but issues with this bloody thing. Right, I've just taken all the coil packs and the spark plugs out. All 4 spark plugs look the same, they don't look wet or anything like that, they look good. I've just had a look down into the bores as well. Everything looks dry, I can't see any misting of like oil or fuel or anything. So I'm hoping everything is okay. It looks to be so far. So I've just got number 1, I've got my compression tester in here. It's in cylinder 1. I've disconnected the fuel pump at the fuel tank. So yeah, I'm gonna do the compression test now and I'll share my results. 12 bar. Uh, 11.85. That one's 11.1. Ha! 12.2. So ironically, it's the best one. So I've got my results here, and cylinder 1, 12 bar, cylinder 2, 11.85 bar, cylinder 3, 11.1 bar, that being the lowest. And ironically, the cylinder that I was concerned about the most posted the highest with a 12.2 bar. Now, I'll put up on the screen now the official compression figures that it should be. And looking at that, my engine is actually very strong for its age. So obviously you can see there that the values from new should be between, this is from brand new, should be between 11 and 14 bar. Now 3 of my cylinders are pretty much identical around 12 bar. The cylinder 3 being the lowest at 11.1 bar, so it's only 1 bar out. And as you can see there, also the maximum difference allowed between cylinders is 3 bar. So we are well within spec, and actually it's a very strong engine. So that's made me feel quite a bit better actually. Yeah, don't have a problem with the engine, so I am just assuming at this point it was just a little bit of petrol still around the existing oil. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it on the ramp. I'm going to do another engine oil change, another filter change, and then hopefully that should be then resolved, because I can't actually smell petrol in the oil, it's just in the filter. So hopefully the filters maybe caught the rest. Oh, I don't really know at this point, but yeah, going to drain it again, and then fingers crossed, I'm not even going to say it's going to be okay. Fingers crossed it will work for a short period of time. Right, let us go out on a road test. I don't think, since obviously I've started tuning this, because obviously I did have successful road tests when I just fixed it, I don't think I've had one successful tuned road test. So I thought I might as well film it, because I'm sure something is going to go wrong. Okay. I've got a bit more cabin noise because I've still got the rear bench up, so it's letting some noise through. So I'm going to get it up to temperature. Right, I'm up to 90 degrees oil temp now. I've done 6 miles. Touch wood, no issues to report so far. All seems to be going okay, but then again I haven't booted it yet, so let's just give it the first little bit here. On a nice uphill slip road, wet. It's quick. I've got a couple of really annoying rattles. I've got a rattle behind the dash, and I think my exhaust is hitting the heat shields at the rear, because that keeps making a noise as well. But so far so good. And there's a Porsche Macan Turbo in front of me, and this is why I like sleeper cars, like modifying cars you wouldn't suspect, because I could easily, as long as I've got grip, beat him in obviously a straight line race. But he'll be sitting there, sitting all smug, thinking, "Ha, Golf GTI, not a chance." Unfortunately, I'm not going to get a chance, but it's a nice feeling to know. But let's go down let's go down a B road. I've been stuck on A road so far, so I haven't been able to do anything. So let us go down here. Right. a 2 litre. The boost doesn't kind of kick in till 3.5. So it's quite cool when you're building up to 3.5, and it's not that quick, and then all of a sudden you can hear the intake and the swoosh, and then it absolutely just takes off. Nothing, and then it's quick. It pulls as well. It doesn't just. It gets quicker and quicker up the rev range. It doesn't just flatline. Give it a little. Oh no, there's a car coming. I don't want to excess wheel spin. 4-wheel drive, I'd have been confident pulling out of there, but not so much in this. Sound good, and it is quick. And the good news is I'm half a mile away from the farm, and I haven't broken down yet, so I count this as a successful first road test. Right, so there we go, guys. First successful road test of the tuned, or past stage 1 anyway, Golf GTI. Now, I did pop over to the airfield to do a 100 to 200 run, because at this stage it is the only real indication I can get of how much power the car's got. Now, just to go through some figures of what it got when it was standard and stage 1, bear with me. Right, so when this car was completely stock and standard, I did a 100 to 200 in 18.74 seconds, which, after looking, that was a pretty standard time for a standard Golf GTI. So that was my base. When I went stage 1, so we're probably talking around 320 horsepower. The time was 12.6 seconds, so it actually took took over 6 seconds off. So 12.6 seconds was a stage 1 time for this car. Now, just to give you a bit of an idea, my RS4 B8, so 450 horsepower and DSG, that did a 100 to 200 in 11.5 seconds. That's what I got out of it. Now, I did this 100 to 200 today at the airfield. I did it in 4th gear only, but it did bog for the first sort of 7 or 8 mph, so it could go quicker. And also, I did it over quite a bumpy terrain. It was a bit up and down. It wasn't a nice smooth surface, so I did a 9.7. So that is what I've got today, 100 to 200, 4th gear pull. So I'm confident if I did it in 3rd into 4th and I did it on a nice smooth surface, I would be low 9s. So I think this is currently probably a 9.1 to 9.2 car, 100 to 200. I don't know what indication of power that gives me. I've done a couple of Google searches, and it seems that stage 2 Golf Rs, DSGs with 420 horsepower are getting high 8s to like 9 seconds. So I'd probably want more than that. I'd probably want, for a manual car being sort of 50 kilos lighter, I know I've got the gear change in there as well, but I do have weight and a good like 60, well, I should have a good 60 horsepower on my side as well. So I'd still be wanting to see high 8s from this. So yeah, that's where at the minute. So that's a good base though. That's fine for now. I've done some logs that I've sent over to Dan at Litco. He's going to analyse them, see where he can improve the map. And yeah, we'll go from there. So in the next video, guys, we're going to probably do some bit more testing, maybe pop over to the airfield and get some more 100 to 200, see where the car's at, and we might get it on a dyno as well. So yeah, it Could have gone bad this video, but actually it's ended on quite a good note, and yeah, the GTI is happy for the moment. So as always guys, thank you very much for watching. If you do like these types of videos, please do subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram at saving_salvage for more videos like this, because no doubt we're going to be doing some tuning stuff on the Mark V GTI as well. I won't go to the extent that I've done on this. I've kind of learnt my lesson for now. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.